In order for one to thrive, we must all thrive. Practice this meditation on interconnectedness to understand and remind yourself that we are all connected and that our actions and our thoughts have an impact on one another near and far. Together, we can make this world a more beautiful place. Now's the time to make the time. Let's begin in a seated position. You can elevate your hips by placing a folded up blanket or yoga mat underneath your seat. And if a seated position is not available for you at this moment, any posture that you can remain comfortable for the next several minutes will do. Let's find relaxation and ease. Take a moment to settle with your breath, anchoring yourself in the present moment. Let's begin now to trace back all the people who are involved in your interest in meditation. Someone might have given you a book, read you a poem, or played you a piece of music. Or perhaps they told you about their meditation experience. Let a sense of them, a recollection of them, come into your space with you. Consider including those who have really hurt you, not just those who you find a little bit annoying or irritating, but someone whose actions have really brought you to an edge, so that you almost said, I've got to find another way to be happy. I have to look more deeply into life. After all, they are a part of why we're here now as well. Maybe you had a teacher who instilled a love of learning and a willingness to be adventurous. Perhaps you had a parent who instilled confidence in your ability to try new things or explore new terrain. Maybe you've had a child who opened you up to a sense of wonder and interest. Let them be here with you now. Now, notice the clothing that you are wearing. How many forms of life, how many people, how many beings have been involved in the growing of that fiber, creation of cloth, transporting it, selling it. Think about the creation of the building in which you're sitting, or the stewards of the plots of land if you're outside. All the forms of life involved in the food that you've eaten today. The people who planted the seed and nurtured the crop, who did the harvest, transported the food, sold the food, and prepared the food. You can see that none of us is actually independent, alone, or cut off. However, alone we might sometimes feel. They're all a part of the greater fabric of life, this immense web of relationships and connections and influences, this immense web of interdependence. We arrive at this moment in time born by a sea, an ocean of conditions. If we look at a tree, we can see it just as a tree. Or we can look at a tree and sense the soil and everything that affects the quality of that soil, which is nourishing the tree. The rainfall, everything affecting the quality of that rainfall. The sunlight and the moonlight, the quality of the air. Is the tree just a tree, or the confluence of all these conditions coming together, moving, changing? And so too we can see ourselves. Meditation on seeing the good, even though our more habituated tendency might be to remember the things we've done wrong and the mistakes we've made, the things we regret. we can consciously shift our attention to include the good within ourselves, and so too when we look at others. Beginning with oneself in a relaxed, easy posture. However you feel comfortable. See if you can think of one good thing you did yesterday. It may not have been very big or grandiose, but maybe you smiled at somebody. Maybe you listened to them. Perhaps you let go of some annoyance at a slow clerk at a store or an inconsiderate driver. Maybe you forgave yourself for not saying something completely correct. Maybe you were generous. Possibly you sat down to meditate. It's not conceit or arrogance to consider these things. It's actually quite nourishing, replenishing, to take joy, to take delight in the good that lives through us, that we can manifest. If at any time, whether with ourselves or somebody else, we cannot think of something good, there's another reflection that we do, which is simply to recall that all beings want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. This urge towards happiness is nothing to be squeamish about or feel funny about. The problem is not the urge. The problem is ignorance, not really sensing where genuine happiness might be found, and so making the mistakes that might cause so much suffering for ourselves or for somebody else. The urge towards happiness itself is rightful. It's appropriate. When we can combine it with wisdom instead of ignorance, it becomes like a homing instinct for freedom and can help us cut through many obstacles. We start with ourselves and then with others, looking for the good. If it's not going to happen that way, we switch to this other reflection, recalling that all beings want to be happy. Think of someone who's helped you. Here, their good qualities might come to you in a rush. You can appreciate that about them, those aspects and efforts, the acts of kindness. Think of a good friend. Appreciate the good within them. Think of someone you know who's having a difficult time right now. Think of the good within them, the times they've reached out to help others, their own sources of strength. Think of someone you have a bit of difficulty with, a conflict or unease. See if you can find some good reflected in things they've done and choices they've made. If not, you can switch to that other reflection, remembering that they too, just like each one of us, want to be happy. They just want to be happy. Everybody wants the same sense of belonging, feeling at home in this body, this mind, this life. Ignorance is a very strong force. We'll close with a few moments of reflection that all beings want to be happy. And it begins with you. Repeat silently to yourself, I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. Now we take this energy and send it out to the world, to all beings. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. And may all beings be free from suffering.